In a world where it seems like the price of used dirt bikes changes every week, how do you know if you're getting a good deal on the used bike that you're going to buy or are looking at? Well, I've looked at and bought dozens and dozens of used dirt bikes over the years because it was kind of my hobby growing up through high school and college years, kind of to get to know bikes better. But one thing I learned is that to know I got a good value on a dirt bike, I always scan the local market. So what I mean by this is I don't go and type in the bike that I want to buy, like a YZ250F, and then just click on the first one and be like, oh, this looks good, let's go look at it and buy it. No, I spend time, and the amount of time that I spend looking for a bike really depends on how hard it is to find and how desperate I am for it and what my budget is. But what I really like to do is type in the bike, let's say YZ250F, and then I scroll through, I look at all the bikes that I can, maybe certain years, whether it be like the older steel frame or maybe like the 2014 and newer. You want to look at the specific generation of model you're looking at, and then just compare those prices and kind of average them out. Maybe it's $3,500. Well, you want to be looking for one that's within that range or maybe a little bit lower, and most people don't get their asking price, so you might be able to get a little bit lower than that. So if you're looking for maybe a couple weeks and you don't see any that are a lot more expensive or a lot cheaper, then you know that's kind of the general price range of the bike, assuming it's in good condition. Which leads me to my next sign, and that is, what condition is the bike actually in? So a lot of sellers like to overhype the condition that their bike's in. I see so many ads and I just shake my head because they say this bike is mint, perfect condition, just needs a top end rebuild. Or this bike is in great condition, needs nothing, just a new exhaust or a new head gasket. It's like, hello, you just contradicted yourself. So maybe they don't even mention it in the ad, but when you go to look at the bike and it looks a lot worse than what you saw in the pictures. And pictures, although they can help before looking at the bike in person will tell you a lot more, especially when you start asking the seller questions and you start looking over all the bike, making sure there's nothing missing on it. Make sure it's been maintained, checking the oil, the air filter, all that stuff like that. You can get a better idea of what condition it's in, and then maybe start adding up in your head the prices of maybe parts that need to be replaced or rebuilt. Maybe it's just the tires. I mean, that's $100 to $200 alone. Maybe chain and sprockets, that could be another $100. So kind of just adding up the little bits and pieces of the parts that you're going to need to replace and kind of removing that from their asking price to get a good deal on it. Because if you buy a bike, let's say you buy a YZ250F for $3,500, but it's going to need $500 in repairs or just replacement parts to be a reliable and safe running dirt bike. Well, that makes it a $4,000 bike to you as the buyer. So you want to know ahead, well, I need to offer him maybe $3,000 or maybe $2,800, and maybe we'll meet in the middle to try and make up for the price of what parts need to replace. And that kind of goes in line with the third thing, is what work will it need. So if you find that maybe the carb needs cleaning because it's hard to start or it's running really rich, then carb cleaning can be $20 to $50 to $100 depending on if you do it yourself or bring it to someone else. But if it needs like an engine rebuild, maybe there's a ticking noise or knocking noise, or it's just low on compression, that could be anywhere from a couple $100 to several $100 just in parts to replace it. So you need to keep that in mind when considering what to offer them for the right price, or maybe just walking away because you don't want to spend that much time and money getting the bike in good condition again. You want to buy a bike that's already ready to go. And if you want to know a few specific things what to look for when buying a used dirt bike, whether it's a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke, check out these videos here. This is Kelly Fager from Motocross Hideout. Learn more, ride more so that you can stay safe and have fun for many years to come.